This is Ravens Flock Talk Podcast, coming to you every week with their thoughts and opinions on each and every Ravens game. Tune in weekly and join the flock.
This is Ravens Flock Talk. I'm your host, Brandon, with my co-host, my dad. In an ugly, ugly game. We are recording this a couple days after, and I think, we haven't been recording right after games usually, but I think this week we really needed a couple days because I was very infuriated. I mean, I think this was the most angry I've been from our losses this year. This was absolutely pathetic. It was embarrassing, unacceptable, and ironically, we got like some drama now and moves at the time of this recording since the loss. So a lot to talk about, but in my personal opinion, very few positives to pull away from this loss against Cleveland.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more, Brandon. We're over here, we're away, you don't know what's going to happen. You have Huntley starting, and a lot of people are high on Huntley. So, okay, let him prove what he can do with Lamar out. And it was not a good showing. Okay, so, I'm lost for words because this is a division game. We didn't have a lot of injuries on this game except for Lamar, as Brandon pointed out to me. So I was hopeful. I was saying, okay, let's just talk about the first drive.
I mean, I really can't even recall the first. Oh, actually, yeah, the Patrick Ricard 4th and 1. I mean, we were going so well, and I mentioned to you before, this team, for some reason, whatever happens on the first drive seems to dictate the rest of the game. And I knew when they didn't get that 4th down conversion, it was going to suck the life out of us. And we were gonna change.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't remember. You tell me that every week. The first drive we have dictates the tone of the game, and so we're optimistic. We're driving down like nobody's business. Here's J.K. doing his thing again, marching down the field, and we get into the red zone, and all of a sudden we can't finish it off in the red zone. I just don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a long 4th and 1, and that is what I'm kind of scared of when it comes to Ricard, because it's more like a 4th and 2,
Yeah, but
he's got to drag some guys. I mean, I don't know. I feel like J.K. was just so hot on that drive, and again, this game over 100 yards, 125 yards, 13 carries. Gus had 55. I mean, we finally got our 2 running backs. I don't know.
Let me go back to your comment. That's I'm a big Ricard fan, especially 4th and 1, 4th and inches. He drags people, to the first down. I don't mind the call, but the problem was he had no blocking. I mean, offensive line, you've got to block for this big 300-something pound fullback.
He even had a second chance, like spin maneuver to try to get it. Still couldn't get it.
Well, I think he got it, but they blew the whistle dead before he did the spin move. The ref. So my thing is,
at the time I thought he got it, but looking back, I don't think he
because they called the whistle
ever crossed the line though. I don't think he ever did, in my opinion.
Even with the surge.
I think so.
Okay.
After I looked at it, but I mean, nevertheless, I mean, when it comes to the play calling, absolutely horrendous. And Greg Roman abandoned the run.
Yeah, your point is back to Dobbin. He's eating them up. Feed me, and then when it's critical, they're not doing it. And this is so typical Roman. I mean, this whole podcast, Brandon, in my opinion, could just be focused on Roman. We've been saying this for years.
And we were praising him in the beginning of the year. We were praising him. That was the one difference.
First 3 games, okay, but he's not consistent. He's not sustainable with his play calling, and it's so typical every year in critical moments. And going into the playoffs, he always seems to fail.
It's deja vu with the Tennessee game.
Yeah.
We're number 1 seed. That was the year where really our run game, it was overpowered. It was who we were. And he abandoned it right after the first drive.
Agreed. We have a 2-headed monster, running backs, different skill sets. were marching. They couldn't stop it. So what does he do in the second half late? He stops the run.
Yep.
And we don't have the receivers. We don't have the premier receivers to do that.
It's so infuriating.
Yeah,
I
frustrating.
want this guy gone.
Yeah.
He needs to go. I mean, and I'm sick of John too, but Greg Roman sucks the life out of this team. I just don't get it. And people, it's funny, like all these national ESPN guys, they like praise Roman and what he's done with Lamar. As far as I'm concerned, Lamar has bailed him out and made him look better than what he is.
He made him look good.
Ravens fans that truly watch the game know that this guy is bringing us down, and we need to change a culture. We need to do something different. Lamar needs to have a different language with another offensive coordinator if we're going to keep this guy.
So look,
change the culture of this team.
No matter how well J.K. and Edwards is doing throughout the game, or in a quarter,
he's going to abandon him.
He's going to abandon him and go with Lamar on 4th and 1. Everybody in the league knows it. If we're sitting there as fans saying, please don't hand it off to Lamar, and he could get hurt. Why? This is what you pay these running backs to do.
And it's funny. I posted in a Facebook chat. I was mad that he was running with Huntley in that Pittsburgh game, when Huntley took the shot, the helmet to helmet shot, and someone says, "Well, Lamar got hurt, and he was actually trying to escape, the pressure." And they were basically saying that whether you're running or standing in the pocket, you have a chance to get hurt. But my thing is you're increasing the probability of your quarterback getting hurt with these draws and with a backup quarterback. So, but I mean, if you look at the stats, I mean, listen, Huntley is not the guy. If these games have shown you he's not the guy, he's just not.
Last year and
people
this year.
People that think he is, I'm delusional.
Yeah.
Just his throwing motion just alone tells me he's not the guy. But you look at his stats compared to Watson. Huntley 17 for 30. Watson was 18 for 28. Very similar.
Yeah.
138 yards for Huntley, 161 for Watson. But Huntley had to pick in the red zone. That's the difference. And Watson had a touchdown pass. But they were averaging around five yards a throw. I mean, it was very conservative play.
As it should be, because they're protecting him. And okay, Roman, I agree with that. But as soon as he stretches out and has to do something,
it's not good. It's not good. In this game, everything went wrong.
I mean 3 points on offense for us. We're supposed to be hitting our stride.
You should be fired after this game.
Right.
I mean, I'm serious. After this game, you should be done against.
But you have nobody to replace him. So now you're going into the meat of our. it was a division game too. This is just pathetic, fans. That we are going into a division game and cannot score more than 3 points. Shame on Cleveland, too, for 13, but we expect that from Cleveland. And
Watson's just getting in the groove of things, and their defense was bad against the run. This was a game perfect for a backup quarterback and our 2 running backs that we finally had healthy. I just don't understand. I mean, alone... He needs to be done after this game.
And Huntley should,
after this year.
Between last year with the last 6 games, some of them division games as always, he should have got that experience under his belt to get the confidence. He's not a rookie. He's not Pickens in Pittsburgh. So, hey, we expected more from you, Huntley. You had a whole week to prepare, and this is the product of it. And so people that like him and want him to stay as a second-string quarterback, no.
It was just a lethargic offense. It was just so bland. It was just you just didn't expect anything. And when we did get the opportunities to score, we missed it. Tucker misses the field goal just before halftime, and I knew that was a bad sign. Yeah. Then he gets blocked, and look at the amount of fumbles. Robinson 2 fumbles, one that he lost. And that sucked everything out of us after that.
And he was the one that got the interception in the red zone for Cleveland. They were throwing it to him. And he wasn't aggressive going to the ball, and the corner just cut in front of him for the interception. So
Huntley fumbled. Duvernay fumbled. I mean, luckily, we only lost the ball once out of those 4 fumbles. But Come on, guys.
You
I
know,
mean,
Brandon, it was a crazy week for all teams. All these games
Yeah, it was.
just crazy with what they were doing. They were fumbling. Calls were crazy. So our game was pretty conservative, except we had turnover after turnover.
Yeah.
And you know what? We were still in there.
When Tucker's missing field
Yeah,
goals, that's when you know
That's a bad sign.
it's a bad sign. You're probably going to lose the game, especially if it's a tight game.
And that block field goal meant everything to Cleveland from momentum, because 9 times out of 10, Tucker makes that 50-yarder.
I honestly think that they had it after his first missed field goal because we had a chance to tie it at half, as ugly as we played, and they were still up by 3, and you knew points were going to come hard by in this game.
Yeah.
But, you know, moving on, like I said, we were a couple days, recording this couple days past the game, and now we got drama. Now we got Fire Greg Roman papers in the facility, and it's a big conspiracy. Who could have wrote it? It's just funny to me that this is happening at this time of the year.
If anybody has followed us last year and this year, one of our themes, we have themes that just go on and on, game after game. And you'll hear us talk about Roman throughout our podcast for a whole year, and now this whole year. We give him praise when he deserves it, but I tell you, when we got into critical situations in the fourth quarter that needs a good play call, I'll give him last game, he did a good play call to make the first down with Edwards. But I will say, 9 times out of 10, he does not make the right call and the right decision. We don't have another theme is timeouts with John Harbaugh. He really is ridiculously bad on that. And, you know, these things just continue. And Lamar getting hurt in prime time of the season when he needs to be healthy, because they utilize this guy too much.
We're just repeating ourselves at this
over
point.
and over.
Lamar gets hurt around this time last year, and he never came back. And we lost every game last year since he was injured.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just ugly all around. Big changes need to be made. Of course, Ravens being desperate, and we pick up Sammy Watkins after he gets released before the Packers game. So we got Sammy back to give us absolutely nothing like he gave the Packers. I'm so sick of these washed-up receivers, but this is what we're used to now.
Another theme we've had. We
Another
never have a premier receiver.
Theme.
We can't get him in off season. We can't sign him during the season. We can't draft worth a doggone on draft day for a receiver. So, you know,
it's just
it is what it
the
is.
only upside is that we have 2 home games back to back, Falcons and Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh game is going to be tough, but Lamar needs to come back for this Falcons game. If Huntley is still in the lineup playing as a starter, it's a scary sight, and that Falcons game is no guarantee. I feel a little bit better with Lamar on the field, opening up the pass game more. We need to get Andrews back involved. I mean, he's gone missing. He's gone missing now, so it's just not looking good.
Because they're saying they're double teaming him, and all we depend on is our tight ends. So now what? You know, you got Oliver and Andrews now.
It's like you picked up Deshaun Jackson. Use him. Now you picked up Watkins. I mean, if you're going to pick up these guys, you might as well use them. Otherwise, what's the point? I mean, we haven't had a wide receiver catch a touchdown since week 3. That's embarrassing.
And I go back.
That's a stat I can't even believe.
I have to go back to design plays for these guys. Your playmakers, other offensive coaches for their teams that have premier players, get them involved early, get them involved a lot for design plays. And we don't have that. It's just like...
Well, I don't think we have playmakers outside of Andrews.
Well,
honesty.
You got to target somebody other than Andrews. You know,
these guys are just they're not getting open. It's all around bad.
Brandon, remember the game where Andrews got hurt and Lamar passed it to like 5 different receivers, including the tight ends.
I think it was the Bucs game.
The Bucs game. I mean, he spread it all over the field, and we said, hey, this could be the time where you understand that it's not just Andrews to target first. Excuse me. So...
You know what? We just peaked too early, and the way I see it is we're going to get in the playoffs or sneak in there. I mean, the Raiders won miraculously. that helped us out because the Patriots, if they won, that they would be right on our heels, and the Dolphins lost as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got some breathing room in that sense, but this team's going to be one and done, in my opinion, unless we can, these last 3 games, turn it around and get some momentum going and find a spark. I don't see us going deep in the playoffs at all.
Yeah.
At all.
I mean, I can't agree more.
Cincinnati's peaking at the right
Peaking
time.
at the right time.
They're down 17-0. They come back and win the game.
And Lamar hasn't practiced all week. This is Tuesday. He hasn't practiced yet, so there's no guarantee he'll be ready to play.
Yeah.
And, I say it's kind of the design play calling try to keep Lamar a little safe from running design runs for him, especially at the end of the season. And, he can scramble. If you get hurt scrambling, that's the game. But it's just amazing that these premier quarterbacks that are headed to the playoffs, like Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow, are not getting touched nor hurt. They throw the ball away. That's the other thing. Lamar never throws the ball away.
I just think,
So,
I don't want to get on a tangent, but I just think at the end of the day, you need some passing game because it's a passing league.
Oh, yeah.
Mahomes, Herbert, Josh Allen, Rodgers. It's a passing league, and the run game is fine, but playing conservative all the time, it's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
And you need to air it out sometimes. And so we need to get a guy in the offseason, a veteran receiver that can go up and get the ball because
first of all,
these guys that can't make plays, you're never going to win. You're never going to win with that. And with the mixture of Roman, it's just a bad meal.
And Lamar isn't the most
bad
accurate passer. I was watching a Buffalo game, and Josh, when you see his release, whether it's straight under center or he's scrambling, it's just so effortless. I mean, I'm not comparing Lamar to Josh, but when you really look at a pure quarterback like that, it's hard because Lamar doesn't have, to me, the fundamentals. He has
You can win with Lamar. I mean, I'm not buying that.
I'm
not buying that. You can win with them because look at these quarterbacks that are Matt Ryan's, Taylor Heineke's. I mean, we got a guy who's a top 10 quarterback in the league.
I'm just saying
he's going to miss a
throw
throw
to
or
that
two.
next elite where you see he's not as accurate, so these receivers have to compensate for that, right? Because he's not going to throw right to him. Like you said, we need a big physical receiver that can go up and catch the ball, right? Because he's not going to float it right to him like Josh Allen does, period. And so
the way I see it is with these receivers, run a 2 tight end set. I mean, you were bragging about Isaiah Likely. Have 2 guys out there. He's damn near a wide receiver the way he moves. You're so desperate. You're getting all these guys in the Jacksons and Watsons of the world, and you don't use them. But you got a guy who is a rookie, who's got all the talent in the world. Why is he not on the field with Andrews?
It's a good point. It was a good point. When our best year was when we had
if they cover one guy, they got the other guy.
We had a 3 tight end set a lot of times, right?
Not a lot, Dad. Not a lot.
When we had
I know, but they weren't on the field at the same time all the time.
No. But anyway, we could rotate them. I guess I meant to say we rotated a 3 tight end set.
Yeah.
So, I mean, trying to be positive, but
this loss was terrible. It was absolutely horrible, and there's. Like I said, unless they show us something, I don't see what there is to be positive about. Mm-hmm. I get it. We won games early in the year, and we're sitting pretty good to make the playoffs. But
and let's face it, Cleveland is not a premier team right now. And we got Sean Watson. That hurts to lose against him.
I mean,
he was struggling the last 2 games.
We only put up 13 against the Panthers. We struggled against Denver. We beat them by a point. We struggled against Pittsburgh. We lost to Cleveland. Listen, fans, you can say that we're Debbie Downers, but we're just being realists. And, I mean, like I said, unless this team turns it around, can you really say that you believe that we can make a push deep in the playoffs?
Well, the test will be Christmas Eve because if they can't beat Arizona at home, then
Falcons.
I'm sorry,
Falcons
at home, Atlanta at home. Then our season is doubtful. Very doubtful.
Yeah, I mean Cincinnati looks like they're gonna take it all the way for the division unless Josh Allen comes up for us. But I was really banking on Brady and to get us, still in the lead in the division, and then they have to face Buffalo still. But now they got a game up on us at 10 wins, and we're sitting at 9. So I mean, in that aspect, I feel like that's our Super Bowl just for bragging rights because the AFC is so stacked for these playoffs teams. It's just so hard to see this team the way they're playing to do anything. But it's the name of the game, and hopefully we are wrong and we can have something to cheer for. You know, we live and die with the black and purple. I just want to shout out a comment on last week's game. Evan Webb, 4 quarterbacks in 4 quarters, 2 for us, 2 for Pittsburgh. What a game. Glad we pulled out the W. Yeah, it was nice to beat Pittsburgh. Finally, it was a crazy game with all the quarterbacks that played for sure. This Cleveland game was another crazy game with Tucker missing 2 field goals and just the stuff, the mistakes that we all mentioned. But you just pray that, they can wrap it up with Atlanta, and I think playing home might do that, might help. I
mean,
that's what I'm hoping for.
If we win out the last 3 games, we own everything. We win the division, and we're a good.
I think if we go 2-1, we're still good. We might not win a division, but we'll be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Definitely can't go 1-2, and of course 0-3 is without that. That's just out the door. So we have to at least go 2-1 and win these next 2 games. And see what happens that last game in Cincinnati. So we will be with you Christmas Eve. The Falcons, I'm not even sure who their quarterback is. Is it Mariota still? I have no idea. I haven't been keeping up with Atlanta at all. But
I don't even know.
We'll see. We'll see if this Ravens team can step it up. And, man.
After an ugly loss, they should have motivation. So
You would think.
We'll
think
see.
so.
We'll see.
We will see. A lot going on in this organization on and off the field. And hopefully the Ravens can get it all together. We will be with you Christmas Eve.